This is Tom Giblin back again with this segment of the Giblin Report. My guest today is Governor Brendan T. Byrne, who has over 50 years of public service in all facets of our state. Governor, talking about Essex County prosecutor, looking back a little bit on the history books, you weren't the choice of the Essex County Democratic Party back in, I guess, in the 1958, 1957 era. So how did you kind of become the prosecutor then?
We were talking.
Is that fact that the organization preferred somebody else?
I'm well aware. I was talking before a minor, and I get through the 1957 election with minor. I'm his secretary, and I'm running the office. After the election, he says to me, would you like to be motor vehicle director or ABC director or something like that? I said, no, I'd like to be Essex County prosecutor. He said, I don't think I can do that for you. But I said, well, let me hang around for a while and see. So it turned out that Charlie Webb was then the prosecutor, and he decides suddenly to run for state senator, which means he has to resign as prosecutor. Now he's got a vacancy there. Minor says to me, I'll put you in temporarily until I can get Don Fox and Dennis Carey to agree on the naming of a prosecutor. It will not be you. And I couldn't get them, I mean, he couldn't get them to agree on me. So what happens is I'm there temporarily. I clean out the office. I get a lot of good press from the
The office at that time was, maybe give us a little table of organization, how big it was.
People, it was small.
It was small. What,
yeah.
Your assistant prosecutors were part-time then, right?
The assistant prosecutors were part-time.
And how many of those were there?
About 5, 6, maybe 8. We got to 8.
And then detectives, off the top of your head, how many would you have?
There were probably 40 at the most.
So you had 40 detectives, 5 part-time assistant prosecutors,
yeah,
and that was
I think the assistants got to be 8 or 9 in a hurry.
Okay, well.
And by the way, I had kept a lot of the good prosecutors like Bobby Sarcone and guys, Peter Peretti, guys like that. So the office had a bipartisan image. Now, we do pretty well as prosecutors. We're getting good press. And Don Fox, who was the senator, finally broke with Carey and confirmed me for the job.
So you were there how many years?
9.
Yeah, and they wrote a book, I guess, about Brendan Byrne, and some of the paragraphs in that particular book kind of almost propelled you to your next step of running for governor in 1973. What was that book all about? It was about somebody.
No, what happened was that for some reason the FBI had some confidence in my integrity. And so they would give me information. They assigned a guy to me. His name was Connors. And he would come up and give me information, frankly, that the FBI had gotten from wiretaps, but wouldn't tell me that they got it from wiretaps because that was illegal. But I would get information from the FBI. I would operate on that information. I would get the results. And in one case, they gave me information about a case that was fixed. And I pulled the file, it had been dismissed in the municipal court, and I said, I can try this case without the witness they fixed. And I did, and I won it. I forgot who tried it, maybe Lenny Ronco or something. Anyway, the conversation with the underworld guys were, Brendan Byrne can't be bought. He's a Boy Scout. Now, around the time of the 73 election, that had come out, and there were headlines in papers saying the man who couldn't be bought.
So that was definitely.
Now it's 73. You got Watergate. They're looking for an honest man. I have certified honest by the FBI, and so Hudson County, who were not happy with any of the then existing candidates, decided to go for me. It was a pure accident.
So you literally tripped and fell into a tub of butter, as they've said over the years.